Okay, so we got to understand about what is a SQL, what is SQL, right? Structured query language. And then we also got the importance of modularizing the data so that it is easy for readability, simplicity, and maintainability. Okay, so that is how you see the data and you modularize the data. See how it helps is when you modularize the data, that is how you make your web pages also. The web designing, when people do web designing, they modularize it depending on the customer experience. If you are, let us assume you are building a web page where you are capturing the employee details. Would you prefer to put a whole big list of employee details? I will check everything into one page and at the end I will keep the submit button. I'm not sure if you have experienced it. We have experienced it 20 years back. This is how the web pages used to be, because there was no such a lot of thought process. People used to make huge forms. When you know application forms, right? Simple application forms which you fill in your college or wherever. HTML forms were also made like an application form. So big HTML form. You will write everything. Okay. You will fill employee details. So many things. It used to be such a big file. At the end, you will submit, and 2 errors you will get, and you don't even know. You'll be sitting here. What happened? And then you will investigate. You'll go above. Oh, 2 red marks here. Okay, I will fill. You'll come down, scroll down. You'll put a submit. Something failed here, and you'll get irritated. It's such a bad customer experience, right? So what you generally do is you will chunk this data. You'll make them as a different pages. You fill this, you will have a next button. You go to this, you'll have a next button. This is how the forms are made these days. All your registration forms, you see there'll be so many menus, so many tabs where you capture the information. Because the way you do the web design, it is on a model language. The same way the data goes and simplicity, right? This page is there. Ideal situation, whatever is there on that page goes into the database in one table. That's an ideal situation, but it never happens like that, right? It may happen so that you filled something, or web designer will be different, right? You filled some data on that page. What happens is it may go into 3 different tables. Yeah, you filled something on the web page, you filled something here, data, it will go into 3 different tables. Okay, that is the design, you know, how you see the design, right? So now that we know that the tables, why there are so many tables, we call it as a normalization. You would want to split the data, you would want to normalize the data for the sake of simplicity, maintainability, and readability. Okay, so when you do this modularization, you need the capability called join, because I would want to join the tables and select the data what I want. Okay, select, they have very interestingly they have named it as like that, right? Word, you'll have to understand those words. Selecting, you're selecting something, right? From where you are selecting, how this idea came in, you know the terminology called table, but then when you are writing the queries, now it is a training and it is very easy. We are taking the simplest case here, but in the real world there will be 100 tables and you may end up joining 20 tables. When you in the industry, you will write 20 tables, but how will you remember this? Anything in the world, it is communicated so well when it is seen visually. When you see some, if I'm giving a training and if I keep talking, I know what I'm talking, but your mind will be going here and there. The information what you're taking, everybody's mind will not be there, right? If you have already heard about this information, it is going into your head. But then there is, your mind also has a capacity, it is making a meaning out of what I'm saying. I say something, your mind is making a meaning, and I continuously speak, your mind is busy in making a meaning out of it, but I would have given in a second information and you are lost there. Sir told something, but I was busy in making a meaning out of it, and he used a certain terminology which I did not get it, gone. This is what happens in the college or a school. We will be very much interested for the first 5 minutes. We will understand everything. Suddenly they will go so fast. We don't understand. Our mind is shut down there. We will not follow what they are telling. Next 50 minutes, we'll find the ways to keep our mind calm, because it will be going here and there, and you will be nodding your head, but nothing will be going into your head. Okay. So what generally, what the best teachers, what they do is they repeat the information. You may find me repeating the information, but I repeat the information for this reason. I will tell the same thing 4 times, because it may have happened so that you would have missed first time, second time, third time, fourth time, at least something will go, at least you'll get the terminology. Okay. Yeah. So that is how it is. You may find it repetitive, but that's the right way of making sure. And all the audience, right? Not all the audience will have the same grasping power. Somebody will get it really fast, then they will find irritated. The first benchers, right? They'll get it very fast and they'll say, oh, why they are repeating? They'll find it irritated. But then the last benchers, they would need, and yeah, so they would need that information to be propagated. Okay. So that join capability, right? They chose a very interesting word called select, right? You are selecting something. From where are you selecting? The day-to-day terminologies, right? You are storing the data in a table, but then you need a visualization. In the real world, you would encounter writing the joins on 20 tables, and you really don't know you are joining the data, but you don't know what is happening with the data. You anticipated something, but then you are getting some other result, or that query is not even performing also. So generally, how you understand the data is you understand the data using the images. What images we use? You might have learned in your college something called set theory, right? So set, what is a set? Very simple. Generally, you go to any grocery store, or generally girls will be very generally boys never get into set theory. Okay, girls get into set theory. They will go and they'll say, show me this set, right? This ornament set, this matching thing, that thing will be there, right? You would go and show me that set, you say. Okay, for boys the set is a trouser and shirt. That also we buy it from 2 different shops. For us mostly the set, what? I mean, nothing. I can't even think about any set for us, right? So so for boys, maybe the best thing is only coffee set and tea set, right? Saucer and this. Okay, but for girls, you will go to the store and you will generally ask for a set. Show me that set, this set and all. What is a set? It is a collection, right? You go to a store and you say, oh, you do not have a beautiful collection. You'll say that, right? It's a very common word, right? Show me that collection, you say. So what do you mean? In the shop where you go, they would have also kept the saris or your dress in a structured way. They would also kept in a table way. Yeah. And what do you say? You go and select something from it. That is why they put that word select. Right? And there are so many things, selection centers only. These days, the shops themselves are named like that, selection center, where you go and do collection center, selections. That guy has so many collections. This shop does not have a collection, all of that. So set theory, right? So simple, so profound. So it will be so many collections and you go and choose the selection, right? And then they gave you the capability. So you visualize the data in an image form, where it is easy for you to write the join queries, write the complex queries, where you could, as a data engineer, you will design and you will understand those tables, you will join. So I wrote that, right? I wrote employee. We made a table, right? A table is represented as a circle here. A table, you could call it as a table, you could call it as a collection, or you could call it as a set. In Java, you'll call it as a list or a collection. In SQL word, you'll call it as a table. In a more theoretical word, we call it as a set, right? So this is a set. Okay, this is a table, employee basic details. This is your employee address, let us assume. Okay, so now I come and say, I put a query. I want to define, or I want to build a web page, and I'll say, I want the detail. Somebody is writing an API, generic API, and I tell them, I want employee basic details plus address. I want it in the same API, not as a separate API. So I need to now join and get the data, right? So what I will do, I will join the data. How visually I can see that data? I will join that data. Okay. So there are notations, right? So whatever comes, this employee, let us assume there are 4 employees, 1, 2, 5, 6. Okay. And this area represents 3 and 4. Okay, this has 8, 9, 10. So there are totally 10 employees. For the 10 employees, you have two tables. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 3, 4, 8, 9, 10. Okay. This set has this details. This set has this details. Okay. And now when I join, what are the common things here? 3 and 4. So this area represents, which means these two tables, if I have to get the employee basic details plus address of the employees, there are only two records which have both the data. It has employee basic details plus address also. Okay, this area is a left outer join for you. What it represents? It has employee basic details, but it does not have an address. This area 8, 9, 10, it has employee address, but it does not have employee basic details. Right? So they gave a capability for you to write the SQL language. You know, you learn this. So you learn self join, inner join, outer join. If you learn this, then you'll be ready to do any sort of querying on the database. Okay, so it becomes interesting when you do it more than two tables. If you do it with only two tables, it's very simple. Your exercise, that is the exercise which will be given to you, where you have to do it with more than two tables. That is when it becomes interesting. But when you are doing with more than two tables, this is how you'll have to see. First, you will have to do, let us assume this is set A, you have set A, you have set B, you have set C. These are three different tables, right? And we ask you to join all these three tables. What you should do is, you should join A and B first. So this is the result, right? Let us assume you have done an inner join. So this is the result. This itself is a set. This is a result set. This itself is a set. And with this set, you have to do your C. This is how you'll have to see the data. You getting me? When you split it like this, it becomes easier for you to realize how you have to write a join. So it is not that you will always write a same join, right? With A and B, you wrote a inner join. You are interested in an inner join. Okay, this is your A, this is your B, and this is your result set. This itself is a set, right? Now, results. And now this result, what you are getting, you are writing a left outer join with C, which means you are interested in this area. So what result will come eventually? Final result is this area. Yeah. So this is how you'll have to see the joins visually. So there are so many interesting articles, which I will share it with you, which you can read. That will be the exercise. You have to go through these visual join, right? All inner join, left join, right join, outer join. Whatever we just spoke, you can see it as an example. You go through all of them. It will give you a different example and you can understand all that. Okay. So these two articles will be shared. It is an animated videos and you see it and you'll get it. Okay. But then the real exercise will be on doing the inner joins on multiple tables. That is the exercise which we are going to give you, and you will have to do that. Okay. So that for you to understand that exercise, we have an example. You can use this example, and then you can make your own example. Okay. So left outer join, right? Here we are trying to join with the two tables. Table 1 and table 2 are joined. You get a final output. Okay. This is just with the two tables, and if you read this this image, you will get that example. Okay. You do table 1 and table 2, you get the results. Okay. You have joined that, and then you take this result and then you join with the table 3 and you get that final result. Likewise, in industry, when you'll start working, you will end up joining 10 tables. That's a very important thing. So the exercise which will be given to you is, you yourself will have to take an example from Google, and then you will have to take, and then you'll have to perform the multiple joins. That is what is more interesting, and that is what will be more relevant. Okay, so these three things will be shared to you. Make most use of it, and your leads will be tracking. We would want to see different examples being executed on your machine. All right, I'll stop here on the join. Let me stop the recording.